Hi, welcome to the first class session for your spring semester for your Master of Education program. This is going to be your ED 596 course, and it's going to be your educational practicum course. So, what they've done is they have combined administration professionals as well as elementary professionals and secondary professionals into one course. They used to have it separated, but now it's all together. So I will be your instructor for this course. My name is Dr. Brittany Henkel, and it's a pleasure to be here to be able to help you through this practicum course. I'm going to open up in a word of prayer, and then we'll dive into this course, okay? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for letting us have a start of a fantastic year. It's 2025, and we just thank you for the time that you've allowed us to be a part of this chapter of our life where they're advancing in their education, Lord. I pray that you would let it be a time of great study and purpose for you, and you'd be glorified through it all. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So, okay, um, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video just because I'm going to go over the syllabus, all of your forms that you're going to need to use for this course, and I'm also going to go over your first month's assignments, and I'll kind of go and give you an idea of what the end course was going to look like. So bear with me. It's going to be a lot of information, but I really feel confident in the course and how it's been restructured. I spent some time on it, so I really feel like the Lord has helped equip this course for you, and I'm thankful to be able to present it to you today. So what you're going to do, here is my contact information. You may email me or text me at my phone number, and either one is completely fine. I usually respond more quickly to a text message. If you've emailed me and you haven't heard back from me in 24 hours, that is not my intent. So please know that I want to respond within 24 hours. So if it slips by in the system, just send me a text message and just let me know that you're waiting my response. Okay, so basically this course is to help you for your Master of Christian Education. For ED 596, you're going to complete a practicum portfolio. So basically it's just a group of assignments that kind of shows what you've learned so far in your master's program. You're going to use your research skills. You're going to do some reflecting and some observations, and you're going to kind of put it all together and form a big portfolio that's going to be due in April, the very end of April. It's a 16-week course, so all assignments are due. It's kind of staggered throughout the month. You'll see different due dates. So, and then all of the information over the course that covers the course is in your syllabus, and then also on a document called Portfolio Components. Those are going to be the two things that are going to help you stay on track. If I have any announcements, I will place them here. That way you know something new has happened. If you have a question, put your question here. That way the rest of your peers will be able to see your question because they may have the same question. And then I will answer it in there as well. Okay, so the biggest thing I need you to focus on is if you are an administrator, that means you are in some type of administration. You are, you teach, you maybe you're a vice principal, you're a principal, you teach at a college. So if you're a teacher that teaches like cosmetology, for instance, I would say you would be in administration. You're going to find all of your information for the course here. So you'll click here, and these are all pertaining to you. So this is where you're going to see how you're going to get graded in the course. This is where you're going to find your time log sheet. Here's the portfolio components document. Here's your reflection form, and then here's your syllabus. Okay, so, but if you're not in administration, you're going to be in this group, elementary and secondary. So that means you're an elementary teacher or middle school or high school teacher. Okay, so these are all of the forms. You have quite a few more because you have a project that's a little bit different from our admin. So we'll go over that. So there's the same forms that admin has, but then there's a few more because you're going to create a curriculum unit project. So we'll go over that in a minute. Okay, here is a little tutorial. If you need help with any APA, anything, if you don't know how to design your reference list, let me know and I could create a little short for you and then upload it. This was a big one that I've seen throughout the courses, is hanging indents for your reference list. So I made a quick little video that goes over how to do that in Word. So if y'all, as you progress through the course, find there's something that you would like a tutorial on, let me know and I can create that and then just add it here. Okay, so the first thing I want to go over is your syllabus. So let me download the administration syllabus, and then I'm going to download the elementary and secondary syllabus. They're pretty much the same thing. There is one main difference. So I have paper copies here, so I'll be looking down at those to cross compare as we go through. But I want to go through both of them for all of y'all at the same time. So here is my contact information. You'll get 3 credit hours for this course. Every month I'll open the classes. So it will be, let's say for February, if the first week of February falls on like a Thursday, I'll open that course that Monday of that week. I won't wait till the next week, the following week, to open that course. So just so you know about that. So I will open it even if the previous month isn't quite over, but it transitions into the new month that same week. I will open the course that Monday, okay? Let's see. There's my contact information. Course description, pretty standard. Your textbooks for this course, you're just going to need your APA manual and then your King James Bible. And then upon completion of the course, it's a little bit different for depending if you're an admin or elementary or secondary, basically because if you're either going to create the curriculum needs assessment or if you're going to do the curriculum unit project. So that's the only difference. So read those objectives so you know exactly what it is that you're going to be learning and by the end of the course. Okay, so the course requirements, you'll have the portfolio, and these are the sections for the portfolio. It's exactly the same except for here's your curriculum needs assessment for admin, and then for elementary you have the curriculum unit project, but everything else is completely the same. Okay, so this is what is going to be, you're going to be making all of this semester, and you're going to turn it in as your portfolio at the very end. Okay, you'll see the due dates as the semester I open each month. Each assignment will have due dates, and then student-teacher interaction. Just let me know if something's going on in your life that I can help you with. I like to stay at least within 24 hours of responding to emails or texts, so please help us hold each other accountable to that policy, because it just makes it easier for us to be able to communicate, especially since we're online courses, right? So it's kind of hard to have that communication because we're not meeting face to face. So your grading scale, I created a document for this, so I'll show you that in a second. So for each syllabus, you're going to find your tentative course schedule. Now, it could change, but pretty much it will stay the same, but just in case. Um, let's see. Your final portfolio is actually going to be due in April because that's when the 16 weeks accumulates and ends. So for each month, you're going to have your dates, and then you're going to have topics that you're going to go over for that month, and then due dates. So if you want to print this out, and you can just highlight things off as you complete them, but more importantly, you can look forward and see what you're expected to be doing and what how the course is going to progress. So it kind of helps you visualize what is expected of you. And then there's a reference list at the end. So, and then here is the other tentative schedule. So it's pretty much the same, just a few different assignments. Okay, so that is your syllabus. Let me know if y'all have any questions over that once you kind of dig into that a little deeper. Now, let me put this aside. I'm going to go over your portfolio components. So here's elementary and secondary, and then I'm going to go back and go into admin and open up your portfolio components. And we will go over this side by side, just like we did your syllabus. So let me set out my paper copies so I can cross compare. So I'll let you know when they differ. So just pay attention, and then as they get more specific, I'll let you know. So every portfolio is going to include the following components. You're going to have a title page, and it's going to be a Word document, and you can change it into a PDF if it's too long, but it's going to be a Word document. It's not going to be like a PowerPoint presentation or a video. You're going to need to include a table of contents, and then each of you are going to have an introduction. So your one-page introduction of yourself and the portfolio. This, I do not give you a specific assignment to complete. You'll just complete that before you submit it at the end of the semester. Now, but I do give you a place to turn this in your resume or curriculum vitae, depending on which one you're working on. You need to create that, update it, and then that will get submitted as well. Let's see. 2 letters of reference from college supervisors, cooperating teachers, or administrators of the school where you have worked. So you'll need to be thinking about that. I do not give you a place to submit that either. You'll just put that together in your portfolio at the end whenever you submit it. So make sure you're cognizant of that and be thinking about who you can get 2 letters of reference from. Okay. Okay. One second. We're getting ready for a freeze coming down south here in Texas. So we have a bunch of sheep and chickens. So my boys are going to go get hay and straw so they can get their pens really nice in a warm place for them. And he's driving and he's getting all of that for me. So sorry about that. But so y'all stay warm this week. I know it's going to probably be really cold for y'all too where y'all are at. So let's see. If you have any informal or formal evaluations that you can add, you can do that as well in this introduction section. That'd be just a nice thing to add, okay? So next, you're going to complete a philosophy of education statement, and this is the same for both of you. This is going to be a statement to address your view on education based on a scriptural foundation and other supporting cited documentation. So that means you're going to have a reference list for this. It's recommended that the student refers to the paper you submitted during your history and philosophy of education course. So if you can recall that, you can use that to help you formulate this, okay? The statement should be readable length, no more than 3 to 4 double-spaced pages. And yes, there will be, a reference list. So, okay, and then both of you will be completing an action research project. So let me see that. So For this project, it will be chunked out throughout the semester, and you'll be working on different parts of it each month. So let's kind of go over these 4 bullet points. The students are going to complete a small action research project that meets the needs of the school. So you're basically just figuring out, what does my school need, and you're going to create a project that's going to help solve some type of issue that your school has. Okay, it's an action research, so it's research and action. The research can either be qualitative or quantitative in nature. It is preferred that the research is part of an overall school improvement plan. So you're not going to use this on what you did in my research course, your research and education course. This is going to be something new, because it needs to be something that you're doing at your current place of employment. And then it would be best if it was part of your school improvement plan. So my elementary and secondary teachers, you might not know what that is. If you ask your administrators to see your school improvement plan, usually they make those every year and they'll update them. And there's some type of a plan in place. And so it kind of gives them a vision of where they want to go. Okay, so if you ask for that, you can read it and then pull out something to research to help to contribute towards that plan. Okay. It says on here, the Dean of Graduate School will also work with students to help with your methodology and procedures. That would be great if you know somebody that is in the graduate department, one of the deans. You're more than welcome to reach out to them, and they would love to help you. I can help you with that also. I don't have access to quantitative measures like for SPSS, but we could ask the deans and see if they do, if you're going to do a quantitative study. It needs to be 12 to 15 pages in length. That's not going to include your title page or your reference list. And you're going to follow all of your APA formatting that you've learned and done so well with previous courses. So double space, Times New Roman, 12-point font. You're going to include the 5 parts of research within this paper. You're going to have your, let me just, that's my pastor texting. Let me just silence this, sorry. Normally it's not so loud. Okay. 5 parts for your research. You're going to have your intro, your literature review, methodology, analysis of results. Okay, my boys are calling. 1 second. I don't even know how to pause. 1 second. Nope, not figuring this out. Okay, they'll call back. Okay, so you're going to have your methodology, so how you're going to conduct your study, and then you're actually going to conduct the study. You're going to analyze your data and then write up your conclusion. You're going to include a reference list that's going to be a minimum of 15 peer-reviewed research journal articles, so a minimum of 15. And so remember all the places that you've learned before where to find those articles. If you have any questions on how to find research articles and if they're peer-reviewed, let me know and I would be more than happy to help you with that. So it's a big project, but you have 16 weeks to complete it, and then we do chunk it out and complete it over the semester. So I'm excited to see what y'all choose as far as how it's going to fit into your school improvement plan, because this is something that you're actually benefiting. And so that's why this is your practicum portfolio, because you're using what you have learned and you're implementing it and you're actually putting it into action. So it's such a blessing to be able to use your knowledge on what you have learned and actually be able to implement it and actually contribute towards the education or the procedures, whatever it is that you decide to focus on at your school. So I'm really excited to see what y'all develop. Next, this is where we differ. Okay, let's see. Okay, so curriculum needs assessment. I'll go over what my administrators are going to do, and then I will skip back over and explain what my elementary and secondary teachers are going to do. So just so you know, this is just for my administrators. So if you are in administration, this is the project you are going to complete. You're going to do a curriculum needs assessment. So the objectives of a needs assessment are twofold. First, you're going to identify the needs of learners not being met by the existing curriculum at your place of employment. Two, you're going to form a basis for revising that curriculum in such a way to fulfill as many unmet needs as possible. So you're going to figure out a way to help improve your curriculum if there's any gaps. Okay, you're looking for any gaps. So for this assignment, you're going to set and validate curriculum goals. The curriculum goals will then be transformed into curriculum objectives. And so that's kind of an overview of the whole assignment. So now, what are you going to do? So here's step one. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out the perceived needs approach. So what needs are needing to be addressed at your school? Okay, so the student's going to conduct a needs assessment to survey the needs of learners as perceived by teachers, students, and parents. So here are some example questions you can ask on this survey. How well do you feel your child is doing in school? Is your child experiencing any difficulty in school? If so, please explain. What content or programs do you believe the school should offer that are not now being offered? And what suggestions do you have for improving the school's programs? Are you satisfied with the programs that the school is offering your child? If you're dissatisfied with any program, please specify which ones and your reasons. So just also note that these questions can be modified to survey teachers and students as well, because those were kind of geared towards parents. So don't also know that the needs assessment is not limited to just these questions. You can ask your own questions. But this is what's going to need to be done. That just kind of gives you a baseline. So the needs of learners as perceived by the various groups may be quite different from the needs as shown by more objective data. So if you're going to look at more objective data like test scores, quizzes, attendance data, any more type of objective data versus a survey, you're going to find those might not be in alignment. So that's why it's important to have that first perceived needs approach, okay? So, but then you're going to go into step two once you finish that. And you're going to actually collect some data. So the student, you, will gather data about the school and its programs from whatever sources are available to you. So, for example, you could use background information about the community, the student body, and the staff. The student will also collect data from testing data, student records, school district files, surveys of attitudes of students, teachers, and parents, classroom observations, and examination of instructional materials. Now, it's not limited to that, but that's just kind of giving you a baseline, an example. So the student is responsible for collecting permissions for obtaining such data. So if you're going to get somebody's data and it has somebody's names to it, like test data, you can take the names out, and so that's fine. But if it's going to be tied to a specific person, you need to get permission to be able to do that. The student is required to collect data from a minimum of 3 data sources. So I want you to get data from 3 different places. Now, also, if a data source includes a survey of parents, then a minimum of 3 parents must be surveyed. And the same applies for the surveys of students and or staff. So that could go back up here also when you're doing your needs approach. I need you to do at least 3 of those, but then you need to have, if you do teachers, let's say, then you need to do at least 3 teachers. You don't have to do all 3 of them like you do down here, but I would like you to have maybe 1 teacher, 1 student, 1 parent, or you need to have at least 3, okay? So that kind of goes up there and applies there as well. Okay. Okay. So the student will create a list of all the unmet needs identified through the data collection process under the heading of each data source. Then a summary paragraph is to be written to synthesize all the unmet needs at the school pertaining to the curriculum. So after you've collected your data, then you're going to create a list of the needs that have not been met that you've identified through this data collection. And then you'll give a heading for it, and then you'll make a list. And then a heading, like say you did end of year test scores, and then you get what needs are needing to be addressed. And then you're going to write a paragraph for each one of those. Okay, so once you have finished that, you can move into step 3. You're going to analyze the data and create goals and objectives. So on completion of step 1 and 2, the student will discover deficiencies in their curriculum. The student will then write a minimum of 5 curricular goals. For each curricular goal, the student will include a minimum of 3 objectives and how each goal will be met. The objectives must be written in paragraph form and give sufficient information on how the curriculum needs assessment goals were identified, and furthermore, how the new curricular goals will fulfill as many unmet needs as possible. So for that, you're going to have to analyze it all, and then you're going to create 5 goals. And then for each goal, you're going to have a minimum of 3 objectives on how that goal is going to be met and describe that. And so I think that's a great way to wrap up your needs assessment, and you'll complete all of this throughout the semester and then turn it in. So that's what my administrators are going to be doing. So just be cognizant of that. Okay, so let's go over to my elementary and secondary teachers. Okay, so for you, you're going to create a curriculum unit project. So for this, you're going to select a topic that's age appropriate to develop a curriculum unit. The curriculum unit must cover a span of 8 to 12 weeks. The topic selected should be independent of or expand beyond what is covered in the textbooks for that subject or grade. It is highly recommended that the student develop a curriculum unit that they could use in their future teaching career. The curriculum unit project should include the following parts. And so as the semester progresses, these are the different parts that you are going to be completing. So the scope, and there is a form for this. So like I said the curriculum unit project, you have a few more forms, and it's because you have to use it for this. So scope. Students must develop a scope that will provide an overview of the curriculum unit. In the scope, students must have a narrative summary of the curriculum unit in paragraph form. Next, students will list the student-oriented goals for the unit. 2 to 4 goals is typical. And the performance objectives for each goal. 2 to 4 objectives for each goal is typical. Lastly, students will list in bulleted form desired understandings, knowledge, and skills that the students will gain by the time the unit is complete. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back to y'all's forms real quick. Okay. Reflection form. Okay, this is your curriculum unit sequence map template. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So there's no form for that. You're just going to type it out. So sequence. Students will develop a chart that will show the goals and objectives of the unit, time frame, and content and activities assessment, evaluations, and government standards. Students will use the curriculum unit sequence map template as a guideline. So when you do that, this is the form you're going to use for that part. Okay, so you have your goals, your objectives, time frame, content and activities, assessments, and government standards. So you'll just fill this out, and then that's what you'll turn in for that part of that assignment, okay, for the sequence. Then you have your monthly lesson overview. Students will map out the curriculum unit over the designated time frame. Students will complete the monthly lesson plan template. Students will fill in all the content to be covered, the teaching activities, assessments, and deadlines for projects, and any other items of significance. So now you're going to chart out your monthly lesson plan. And so for that, this template is what you will use to complete that part. Okay, so you will just fill in everything that was just stated on here. Okay, and you'll have to use more than one because it's up to 12 weeks, I believe. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of that, let me know as you get to it. So next is your daily lesson plans. You're going to provide 5 sample lesson plans developed for this curriculum project. Students will complete lesson plan template. The lesson plans can come from any part of the curriculum unit, but they should be from a lesson in which each part of the lesson plan template should be completed. Instructional objectives, evaluations, assessment, etc. So you need to have lesson plans to include all of that, okay? And then your template is here. Okay, so you're going to do at least 5 of those, and you'll fill all of this out. So you'll have your goals, your understandings, your essential questions, your assessments, and then the learning plan itself, okay? So each component will be part of each individual lesson plan, and then you'll have 5 in total. Okay. So then you're going to have your teaching materials. Students are going to provide at least 5 examples of teaching materials. And the materials need to be part of an example lesson plan. So you'll have your lesson plan, and you're going to create a list of the materials that you're going to need to teach that lesson. So just provide those materials there for the lessons, okay? Then technology implementation. Students must demonstrate an understanding of how technology can be integrated into their teaching to enhance their curriculum unit. Examples can provide in the sequence or in the lesson plans, or students can provide a separate document that explains the implementation of technology or give a printed example, PowerPoints, webpage, etc. So if you incorporate this into your daily lesson plans, that would probably be most advantageous for you. Because then when you have to submit this part, it's already there, and you can literally just resubmit it. So that's just a little tip for you on that. And that would be completely acceptable. So the last part for your curriculum unit project is your assessments. You're going to provide at least 5 assessments that are used in your curriculum unit. So you could just do 1 assessment per lesson plan that you created, and that would work great for you. And so you can do review units, quizzes, tests, rubrics, peer assessments. You know, the sky's the limit. You can choose what type of assessments you want to use for that, and then you'll submit those. So basically those are the 2 main projects that are different for admin versus elementary and secondary. So, but they're both dealing with curriculum. You can see just how they're at one's examining the needs in the curriculum, and the other one you're creating the curriculum, okay? So I hope that is explained well for you, and it's all written there for you to be able to reference once you get to that point. So this document is extremely important for you as you move forward. So let me get these paper copies lined up. This is pretty much the same thing as well. Yes. Okay. So let's look at your next big part of your portfolio. You're going to have something called documents and artifacts, and this is for both of you. This is for everyone. Okay, so students are going to show a collection of materials in areas of school administration, institutional advancement, and instructional supervision that they personally created or helped to improve for the school. So these documents can include, but are not limited to, different manuals, policies, handbooks, promotional materials, forms, etc. And then remember, if you have that school improvement plan, there might be something in there that your particular school wanted to create as part of their improvement plan, so you could use that information to help you with this assignment. And it would be very beneficial for your employer as well, for your place of employment. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to basically create documents or recreate and improve documents, and you're going to show me what they look like before the original copy, and then how you transformed them, okay? So you're going to begin, and you're just going to create a list of documents and artifacts that you're going to do this to. You're going to include the title for each document, as well as a brief description of what it is and what changes were made and created, okay? So that's the first part. You're just creating a list, and you're giving a little brief explanation. Then later you're going to provide a copy for each of those documents. If it was improved, you're going to provide an original copy along with the improved copy. That's very important. Now, if you created something that didn't exist, then you're just going to give me that. You won't have anything to show me that was improved from. Okay? So this is broken up into two parts. You have part 1. It's going to consist of 10 documents and artifacts. That is due in March. So you'll have your list already done, but then in March you're going to actually submit your 10 documents that you have either revamped or created. Then part 2, you're just going to do 10 more. So you'll have a total of 20, and then that's going to be due in April. So that's pretty easy to explain. So if you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask and reach out. A lot of times students will ask if they'll ask me, do you think this is something that I should do? And I'll let you know, yes or no. So just let me know if you have any questions. So next, this is pretty much the same, except some of you will be in administrative roles doing this, and others will be teaching roles doing this next part. And this is the last part of your portfolio. So I know it's long-winded, but you're going to be able to get everything at the beginning so that you know what you're going to be expected to be working on. So, okay. For administration, it's over here. Let me just go over administration, and then we'll compare how different elementary and secondary is from administration. So your practical activity logs. So you're going to complete weekly activity logs listing time spent on different responsibilities that you're spending on your practicum. All of these assignments. Okay, this could be meetings with college and school personnel, school functions, observations, field experiences, etc. Okay, but it has to be going towards these assignments for this course. Okay, students are required to log a minimum of 40 hours of practicum responsibilities, not including time spent outside of work on your document and artifact development. So you're not going to log the time you spend making your documents. Okay. Or reading any literature, that's not going to count, or actually writing your research project. So those are the 3 things that will not count towards those 40 hours. Now also note that the 40 hours is due in April, and you are going to just do what you can each month and just submit what you did each month, and then it's a total of 40 hours at the end of the semester. Okay. So if you want to do 10 hours in January, 10 in February, 10 in March, 10 in April, you pace yourself, okay? Your next assignment are your reflections. So you're going to have reflections on your observations and your field experiences. So students are required to spend at least 15 hours in direct observation of a school administrator or engaging in school administrator responsibilities. So if you are the administrator, then whatever duties you have, that counts. But if you're a teacher, you're going to observe your administrators. Okay? Okay, so there's 15 hours of those. But you notice up here, you might have spent some time doing observations. So if that's true, these 15 hours can cover the 15 hours you did up here if there were 15 hours. But you're just going to have to write a reflection over those observations that you did up here. There is overlapping is permitted. Okay, that's what I was trying to say. So I think I go over that right here. These hours may split into any which way is agreeable to the school administrator and to the student. But it's suggested that the time be split in such a way that the student is able to observe a variety of administrative responsibilities. So let's try to make sure we're not doing all 15 hours of one particular activity. Let's try to delegate that out and have it sporadic, so you're seeing a variety of things or doing a variety of things, okay? Students are required to fill out an observation and field experience reflection form for every hour that they spend to summarize and reflect on the experience. So every hour you're going to have to fill out one. So even if you spent 2 hours doing one observation, you're going to have 2 reflection forms, one for each hour, okay? And that will go towards your total of 15 that you're going to need to complete. So let me show you where those forms are. This was my admin, so let me show you that. And they're the exact same thing for your elementary or admin. It just says the different title at the top. So, okay, observation form, open, time log, open, okay. Okay, so here's your activity log. So you can read through this top part, but here's where you're going to fill it out. So remember, for this, you're going to have a total of 40 hours for the whole semester. And then you'll have your supervisor, your date, your time, your observation, experience, description. And then you're going to have your observation reflection form. So remember, you'll have to have 15 of these total, and you'll do a summary of what it was that you were observing, and then you're going to have the reflection. There's not a word restriction or requirement on this. Just do it until you feel you have sufficiently summarized and reflected. Okay, I can trust y'all to figure that out. So those are the 2 forms that you're going to use for that. So now let me go over this with my elementary and secondary teachers. So I want to say I rewrote it and it's the same thing. There was a little difference here. Okay, so for your reflections, students are required to spend a minimum of 15 hours in direct observation of a teacher or engaging in teaching, tutoring, or other educational responsibilities. So that would count. But remember, we need a variety. So we're not going to do 15 hours of teaching, okay? But you're going to reflect upon that. And this all needs to be a reflection upon how it relates to your practicum assignments. So it's not just any teaching. So if you're doing a survey, you could reflect about that, like when you're doing your needs assessment. So just, well, that would be for your administrators. If you're doing your documents of artifacts and you're going and looking at the needs assessment, or your school improvement plan that's written there, you could write a reflection about that. Okay, so try to link all of your observations, reflections, field experiences, your practicum activity log to your actual practicum course assignments, because that's the whole purpose of this, is to be reflecting on what you're learning through these assignments for this course. Okay, now you can split these up in any way agreeable, as we discussed. So I think that was the only discrepancy there. So that is it. That's your portfolio components, each group. So course grading, let's go over that real fast before we get out of here. Okay, so here's exactly how your course is going to be graded. Normally I have this at the end of your syllabus, but I had to revamp some things, so I just added a document here. The course used to have it where you were only going to be given a grade at the end of the semester, and I wanted you to get credit for each assignment as you're doing it. So you will get, it's weighted for each component of your portfolio component, and then each assignment that you do monthly does go towards the overall component grade that's weighted and measured, that goes towards your portfolio as a whole. Okay, and then you'll also have your portfolio graded and weighted at the very end. So I think that is more suited for the amount of work that you're completing for this course, and you're getting credit for all of your hard work. I wanted to make sure that you were receiving that credit where it was due. Okay, so You're going to have 20% of your overall grade is going to be over your action research project. 15% is going to be over your documents and artifacts project. 5% is over your philosophy of education. 20% is over your curriculum needs assessment or your curriculum unit project, depending on which one you're working on. 10% is your logs, 10% is your reflections, and then 20% is your portfolio, and all of that is 100%. So that is how both of y'all, all of y'all, will be graded, okay? So now we get to jump into January. So next month, I will just have to go over February. It'll be a lot easier for you. I will go over any questions that you have that were common in February each month. So just know I'll try to address that so there's clear communication on expectations and any misconceptions that you may have, okay? Okay, so here we are. So you'll see how January assignments, okay, I have it all students at the top. So all three of these, everybody will do. Okay, so you have your action research project topic. That's going to be due Sunday, January 12th. You're just going to give a brief description of your action research topic. Provide pertinent information including your location, participants, proposed methodology, timetable, and school approval. Keep in mind that this project needs to meet the need of the school. So you're going to look at that school improvement plan, okay? And then APA, of course, and then you'll get 10 points for completing that assignment. So please submit your topic there for approval. Then here's where you will upload your resume or your curriculum vitae. That is due January 19th. So please upload that there. And then here is your documents and artifacts, educational administrative concept description. So this will be due January 19th. This is the first part. You're basically telling me what you're going to focus on for your documents and artifacts that you're going to be creating or revamping. So give me a description. It needs to be an educational administration concept. Now remember, if you can link this to the school improvement plan, that's even better because that helps your school. This concept will guide your documents and artifacts section of your portfolio, okay? So for each student, you're going to consider your current employment and situation. If possible, the goal of the practicum is for the student to create or update an administrative procedure for their school or organization. For example, if somebody is currently in a leadership position, like say you're an AP, you can create or update your student disciplinary policies and procedures documents. Another example might be if you're an athletic director and you need to create or update your athletic standard operating procedures that outline students and coaches' roles and responsibilities, you could create or update those documents. Okay, those are just two examples. So, just let me know if you have trouble figuring out what documents to do, administrative positions. If you're not, you can always go to your administrator and ask them what they need help on, and I'm sure they'll give you several ideas, okay? Use APA. Now, I want you to just kind of look ahead. I won't read this to you, but below is the description of the assignment that's due in March. You may begin working on this, but it's not due till March, and then part 2 is due in April. Remember, I said 10 are due in March and 10 are due in April, and then here is exactly what those instructions look like for that. So that's just looking ahead. But right now, you're just giving me a description of what you're going to look over, okay? And then it says at least 10 documents listed and a description and explanation of the 10 documents provided. That is what is due in March, okay? So just go ahead and give me your topic, and in March you will give me the 10 documents, and in April 10 more documents, okay? Okay, so here is just for my administration students, okay? This is going to be your curriculum needs assessment. You're going to identify curriculum to be evaluated. So for this assignment, it's due the 26th. The objectives of a needs assessment are twofold: to identify the needs of the learners not being met by the curriculum, and to form the basis of revising the curriculum in such a way that fills many unmet needs as possible. We went over that. So for this assignment, you're going to set and validate curriculum goals. The curriculum goals will be transferred into curriculum objectives. Please identify the curriculum. So here's what you're going to do. Identify the curriculum you're going to evaluate for your needs assessment. Once you've identified the curriculum you'll be evaluating, write an essay explaining which curriculum you chose and why you chose this particular curriculum for assessment. Be as descriptive as possible and include what you hope to gain from this assignment once complete. So here's how you'll be graded on that. You're going to identify the curriculum, and then in essay format explain why you chose that curriculum. And then also in essay format, explain the hopes that you have to gain through this assignment once you complete it. So you're basically just giving me your topic, okay? Just to kind of get your brain started in thinking about that. So, and then here for my elementary and secondary students, you're going to give me your curriculum unit description. So similar to what my admin's doing. Please explain and give a description of your curriculum unit project for approval. Provide any information like subject area, grade level, timetable, and explain why this project, how this project expands the current curriculum. Okay, so it needs to add to it. And here's exactly how you'll be graded for that. And that's due the 26th. So then, here are all students, okay? So this is where you'll upload your activity logs. Let me just show you that real fast, okay? And so you can read over that, and it kind of helps remind you what those are, the requirements are. And then here, and these are both due on the 26th. This is where you'll update your reflection forms. You'll just upload as many that you completed. Just remember, by the end of the semester, you need 15 reflection forms. And then by the end of the semester, you need 40 practicum activity hours logged. So, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help. I know this was a lot, but I think it's very well organized and outlined for you. So I hope that you enjoy selecting your topics this month and start working on your assignments. And I know that your schools are going to be very thankful, and they're going to gain a lot, so much from your work this semester. So be proud of yourself. I'm proud of y'all. And until we meet again. So y'all have a great month. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.